always been a fan of this woman. I mean, she has always had this loving, powerful energy that creates joy for others. I remember seeing her work on stage at San Francisco State when we both went there. And I was in awe of her. She is an educator, an actor, a director, Francine Torres.
Hey! I feel like I'm dead. That was such a nice eulogy.
Oh, oh my God. Oh my
That's
God.
so nice to hear that. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I don't think we've seen each other for like, we shouldn't mention it.
No, in person, but I mean, I've been along since Facebook was invented. Like I've been watching and seeing everything that you do. It's wonderful.
Well, and I've been watching what you do, moving from San Francisco to New York.
Oh, honey, it's been a story.
Oh my God, I want to hear. I mean, you're teaching now at in New York.
NYU.
What?
NYU. The story is pretty fast. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, go for it.
Where do I begin? So I think what I like to tell people, especially those getting started,
Right.
and as you know, I have 2 daughters and they're navigating their way through college and wondering what their journey is going to be.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that I was born of, modest means, working class parents. We are Mexican American, so there's that added, aspect to it. And it was rough going for a while. Happy childhood, and then some things happened in my family that were not so good. Very traumatic divorce and just a lot of hard stuff.
Yeah.
At that time, my mom, about the time I was getting ready to go to school, my mom was otherwise occupied, and sort of I fell off the radar a little bit. So I wasn't going to go to school. I loved school until all this sort of chaos happened in our family. And the one thing that pulled me through was theater. And I wasn't much interested in going to college at that time, even though my parents had not gone to college. So my sisters and I were going to be the only ones to go to college, the first ones to go to college, rather.
Right.
And my mom was just very distracted and stuff was going on. And she said, honey, just go for a year, learn how to type. And I got to San Francisco State and I kept like the theater department.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I worked a lot. So I worked full time and went to school full time, got myself out of her house and began to separate a little, you know what I mean? Just become my own person.
Oh yeah.
And since I was paying for it, right, working for it, I started doing theater, and where I met you and many of my lifelong friends that I still have to this day, Ray and Aaron Kate and all those guys.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was at San Francisco State, there was a little flyer one day that said, audition for El Teatro Campesino.
Which I remember that one.
So it is the Farm Workers Theater. It's incredibly famous, right? It's Luis Valdez started working with the UFW, with Dolores Huerta, with Cesar Chavez, and they would perform these small acts on the back of flatbed trucks to the farm workers, to educate them, to tell them what their rights were, to make sure they knew about pesticides. And then it became an art form. He sort of borrowed from the mime troupe. He sort of borrowed from Brecht. So I became a company member. And I got my equity card like at 21.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was performing with them in San Juan Bautista, and then I would do like a semester at State. It took me 8.5 years to get my bachelor's at San Francisco State because I was busy working with them.
I didn't know that you did both of those at the same time. Wow.
I did. And when I think of those times with working full time, and hustling to get that degree, I finally did. And this is funny. I'm on BART and I'm gigging and I'm starting, I was in the premiere production of Real Women Have Curves, which was a play before it was a movie.
Yeah.
and I played the inaugural role of the protagonist.
Yeah.
And it got its start in the Mission in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and I've performed it all over the place. But what was interesting is I was on BART one day,
Right.
and I was just completing my degree, and I ran into Michael Torres, and this is before the internet. And Michael Torres, I said, "Hey, I haven't seen you around. You know Michael, right?
Yeah.
Haven't seen you around. Where have you been?" He said, "Oh, I just got my master's at UC San Diego." And I was like, "What's going on there?" And he said, "It's great master's program, and it's for Latinos." And I was like, "Hook me up," right? I apply. This is pre-internet, so it's all snail mail. I apply and I send my stuff in. I get an audition, and I get in. Show up on the first day, and there's no more Latino program. So it was me. They only take 8 people from the
Right.
country. So it's me and 7 other kids from Yale and Brown. And there's me with my UFW, San Francisco State,
Yeah.
Teatro Campesino. And I got my master's from UC San Diego, and it was in conjunction with the La Jolla Playhouse.
Right.
So I got to, teach at the Playhouse. I was on stage at the Playhouse. It was a fantastic program. This is in the
Yeah.
90s. And how do I tell you this? From there, I got picked up. One of my professors was doing a show at American Repertory Theater at Harvard,
Right. Right.
and I'm about to graduate. And he says, "Franny, you want to act in something for me?" He's from Romania. I'm like, "Yeah, okay. What do you want me to do?" He says, "Oh, I have a little part for you." Right. The next thing I know, ART is sending me a contract to play Mayor Ubu in I don't know if you know Ubu, right? So I'm in a rock musical. It's called Ubu Rock, and I'm playing Queen Ubu.
Ah.
And from there, I'm picked up into the company.
Wow.
I
Boom. Just
know,
right in.
but it's weird. It's like nothing was easy, but it was once you find your people, they sort of go, "Here, try this. Here, meet
Right.
somebody. Hey, do you want to be in this?"
It's interesting in that respect because sometimes we fight. It's like, should I go? And then instead of when you just go with it, it's like that's what happened with my SAG card in San Francisco. I got into a commercial, and they hired me, and it was SAG, and I went, oh my god, this is my first commercial that I've ever auditioned for. I'm not ready to be a SAG member,
Right.
but I'll do the commercial. So I did the commercial, and then a month later I got a second one. So I went, okay, I guess I'm ready. But it's interesting. You just go with the flow.
Absolutely. And from the, and I never was the person to like try to make introductions or any of that stuff. I was just sort of treating people. I'm friendly, I'm outgoing. I remember the first day of the reading at ART, Bob Brustein, who is the godfather of American theater,
Yeah.
came up and he said, "It's so nice to meet you." And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" No idea who he is.
Yeah.
Chatting to him about whatever. He thought I was so probably crazy, but I think it was refreshing for him that I didn't, you know,
Yeah.
it was no, so it, from there, it was crazy. I had this fantastic career on the East Coast, and my, my boyfriend at the time was from the East Coast, and he says, "I want to get married." And of course, I'm like 30, and I'm like, right? I
Yeah.
want to have kids.
Yeah.
And he says, "I want to get married, but I want to settle in San Francisco because I'm from the East Coast. I don't want to live on the East Coast." And
Right.
so I go, "Okay," thinking I'm going to very easily resume my, life of gigging and touring and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, then we get married and we have 2 kids. And my first daughter, um, about 2.5, we discovered that she was on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really important to me to be completely focused on my kids. And that's one thing about though theater is in my blood. It's really important for me to be very present with my kids, and that's obviously what the universe was saying. You need to be really present with this kid, with both these kids.
Right.
And I'll tell you a little later about how she and I have interacted.
Yeah.
Um, but what it did mean was I couldn't really go back to life as I knew it. So
Yeah.
I created, oh my gosh, a life around my kids. So they would come to rehearsals with me. And actually the interaction was great for my oldest daughter, right?
Yeah.
Working, being around actors and, singers and watching all this stuff. So I took a job in a prep school, and I did that so I would have the same vacations as my kids, and so that after school they could be with me.
Yeah.
And then I also kept up my professional chops by teaching at ACT at night.
Yes.
So, right? I don't know how I did this. And then I would direct.
How did you get the job at ACT? I was reading that.
Yeah. When I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, I'm fresh from the East Coast, and they hire me, and I teach in every possible skill level at ACT, which was a blessing because that means I know how to teach little kids. I know how to teach MFA actors,
Right.
all of it. So I taught there for about 20 years while keeping my other job with my kids so I could be with my kids, and then acting around that when I could, directing like at Stanford when I could. So I created this sort of life around my kids. And interestingly, a couple of years ago, my friend said, "Hey, there's an opening at NYU." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Right. She says, "I think you should go for it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You don't know if you don't go." Right. And I sent my stuff in, not thinking I would even get an email, right? Well, they called me, and it took 4 months of interviewing and demos, but I got the job here as head of acting. And
Oh, I love
I know, head of acting, the new Studio Broadway, which is the school that produces the Broadway musical stars,
yeah.
and I'm the head of acting. So now I'm here. So my oldest daughter is, she's in college on the West Coast. My other daughter is finishing up her last year of high school, and here I am with a whole new life.
I love that. I started wanting to sing that song again. A whole new world. I mean, and to show the process, some people say, "Oh, I'm 50 or whatever, and oh, my life, is, over." This shows that you keep going. People keep going until, 100, you could, but what a great story that is, how you built up. You started as an actress and you went on, and how you incorporated everything.
Right. Well, and my marriage, sort of hit the skids along the way.
Mhm.
It was but it was like it was planned. It was like, we got a divorce. Things were tense and hard, and I'm trying to support the kids, and I'm adjusting to that. The minute I sort of said, "Okay, I'm okay with this," boom, that friend called me and said, "You should apply for this."
Wow. So it happened right after that. One
And
door.
it was like my oldest daughter was in a great place. My youngest daughter, you know what I mean? It just happens when it's supposed to happen. And what I tell my kids now is they're obviously like any college kids, they're going, "What's my path going to be? What's my journey going to look like? If I don't get into this school, what's going to happen to me?" And I said, "Your journey's going to happen to you.
Mm,
You need to be open. You need to be improvisational. You need to be creative about it," which is sort of how I raised my kids,
right.
um, teaching and performing and parenting is not much different.
Yeah.
It's about presence and taking risks.
I'm just hearing you, and you're affecting me, and I'm just thinking, what a wonderful mother you are. What a wonderful, I would love to take from you have you as my teacher. It's like, oh my God. And to have that success, Stanford and NYU and ACT, all the top, these are top schools.
And there's something about that too. This kid that grew up, very humbly from the mission, right? There's something about that. And there are times when I'm like, ooh, there are very famous people on this faculty. I look around at a faculty meeting and I go, I won't even tell you the names. And I feel like an imposter. And, a good friend of mine said, yeah, but they're not you. They don't have your experience. Students need to see you and know that it's possible, So that's what I'm there for. I'm for the kids who need to know it is possible,
It makes me think too, since I'm teaching at Performing Arts Studio West, and how I allowed myself to go on the route that was the door open. I went, okay, I'll try it. And it really, if you don't fight it so much and you allow yourself to experience it, it could even be more amazing than what you thought it was going to all be.
Yes. When I taught, I was always doing this weird, like, teaching a school job during the day to keep, the kid tuition, covered tuition, it covered insurance. My kids could come play, in the afternoon. But the thing was that I was directing kids who had never been exposed to theater before. So
Right.
they're doing their high school experience. And what I found was that the kids, like me, when I was having a tough time in high school, they would sort of peek around. And these were the kids that maybe had dyslexia. Some of them were on the spectrum. Some of them were having other issues. And it was a place where it was suddenly like everybody was expressing themselves and being who they were. And I can't tell you how many coming out parties, we had. But it taught me a lot about, I don't even know, it's parenting, teaching, performing, all of that sort of comes together, and it's all the same work.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I have so many questions that I could ask you, but I also I know that we have a special guest waiting in the waiting room. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll bring her in.
All righty.
Her in. I love it. I'll still ask some questions.
Of course.
There she is. Emile, hello.
Hey.
I love looking at you and your mom, because you both have that same glow, that same kind of, sometimes I don't say words, I just do. I'm a noise. I go,
Me too.
Do you do that too when you're expressing it? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's buck, 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 buck. Yeah.
I do. I don't know if I can say it. Well, okay. I love the movie My Neighbor Totoro, and sometimes I express myself through like Totoro growls or roars.
Oh, we do that all the time.
Yeah.
We won't do this here, but we have full conversations on the phone that way.
And we meow.
And we meow, yes.
And we try to find out who sounds the most feral.
That's fun. We could try that. I had Catwoman on the other day.
Julie Newmar?
Yes!
Damn it!
Oh my God.
Okay, we have to watch that one, Memes.
Oh my God, she is so amazing.
And she moves so gracefully and beautifully.
When I was a kid, my favorite Catwoman was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Right.
She's amazing too.
She is.
Julie Newmar is a little bit before her time, honey. Look her up because she's amazing.
I know about Eartha Kitt.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Also played Yzma in The Emperor's New Groove.
Right?
Did she really?
Yes, look it up.
Now you didn't see, my mind goes, boo, 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 Emperor's New Groove. A friend of mine animated.
Oh my God, really?
What? He did. I should introduce you all.
Oh my God.
Andreas, he's amazing.
You know Andreas Dea?
No, but yes, no. Do you?
I heard about him. I just remember hearing that like working on The Emperor's New Groove was like a living hell for everyone.
Oh my God. Well, this is a different Andreas. This is Andreas Wesselthorn. And he's incredible. In fact, I did a few films. He created his own work that he wanted to do. And I did a few shorts with him. And I love it because I love doing voices. And maybe one of these days I'll be doing more and more of those. But that's so funny.
So one of Mimi's things is she loves voiceover actors, memes.
Yes, I do.
And animation.
Oh, I've got to connect you. Oh my God, I feel like this is a connection. Danny Bowman, who's going to actually be on. Oh my God, if you would like, okay. Danny Bowman, I'm interviewing her. I don't know if it's next week or the following week, but she has her own animation company.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Danimation, and she's on the spectrum, and she creates her own work, and it's amazing, and she has a whole school.
Okay, memes, this is what you want to do, right? This is Kismet.
Kismet.
Kismet?
Have you never heard that word?
Nope. I thought you said Christmas.
It's Christmas too.
It's Christmas. It's Hanukkah. It's my bar mitzvah again.
So memes, I was telling David about how we used sort of what we had growing up to keep ourselves entertained, right? To learn. We used theater and, our own eccentricities, right? Do you remember some of the things we did as a kid?
Mostly I remember my first thought was making those little fashion magazines in second grade about Madison.
About what?
Oh my God, this character I made up called Madison Morphia. I get so embarrassed talking about it, but like Mom loves it.
Oh my God. So may I tell David?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So Mimi was in the second grade, and is it okay? Okay. No? Can I tell them about your wonderful drag queen teacher?
Okay, you can talk about Madison Morphia, but could I go off when you're talking about?
This is a character that you developed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is great. I mean, you can make money off of this.
Her teacher was the first teacher who really got her adored. He was like her fan, and she would do. I'll just tell briefly memes. She would make these fashion magazines, and they were she would draw. She was a character, Madison Morphia, and it was Madison's going to a party. What should she wear? And she would work out social stuff vis-a-vis fashion magazines with this character. Do you know to this day, he still emails me and says, I still have them. He would keep all of her copies because they were so brilliant.
Oh my God.
Second grader. Yeah.
Do you have a voice for Madison?
No, I abandoned the character. It's my old shame.
It's your old shame. It's gold. It's gold.
Well, I will tell you that since the pandemic, okay, I'm in New York, she's in California. It was supposed to be that she would come to New York or, every 3 months. Pandemic, it's not happened.
Of course.
So for her birthday, she couldn't be here. So I send her a doll of, who is it? Elam Garrick from Star Trek.
Deep Space Nine.
Okay, okay. Because she had wanted an Elam Garrick cake that I was going to make. So I sent her the doll, and I send all these little Barbie clothes for her to dress him up. Now, Mimi has decided she took his story and went a little further with it. He is non-binary, Mimi?
No, he's pansexual, but a lot of fans interpret him as trans or intersex.
Okay.
So she also has made up this sort of bitchy old diva persona for him. So, memes, why don't you go get him?
Get him.
Oh,
he's there! Oh, wait a minute. I think I used to date him.
Me too.
Me too. Look at that.
So this is how we communicate. Sometimes we FaceTime each other through, and Mimi is able to sort of talk about stuff she doesn't necessarily want to talk about all the time, but she does it in a funny way through Bitchy Old Queen. So do you want to do his voice memes?
Um, oh God, the Trekkies who watch this are gonna hate me for this because
Oh no.
can't do a perfect imitation of Garrick's voice.
Oh no. Well, I won't make you do it, but he's very um funny. He's not really like the Deep Space Nine. You've made your own character off of him, right, Memes?
Yeah.
Even though it's
So
the Deep Space Nine doll, it's a completely different character. As he is an actor, he probably would love to play a role like that.
well, he's wearing tell David about the dress he's wearing, honey.
Okay, so we found this specially custom-made dress from like a person who makes plus-size dresses,
Barbie dolls.
because me and Bitchy love the Sondheim musical A Little Night Music, and Bitchy's favorite character is Desiree Armfeldt, and he looked at pictures of Glynis Johns as Desiree.
Oh,
And a red evening gown, so he wanted a red evening gown.
I love that.
So it's really cool because sometimes Camille doesn't want to be on camera,
right.
or just sometimes, like I do characters all the time. So he speaks to me he'll say, Camille, has a headache, but I'm cooking dinner. Another time he didn't want to come on Zoom because he felt like his pores were too big.
Oh my God, my pores are too big. Does he talk like this?
Oh, okay. If you want me to do the voice that bad, I'll get a mask on and put it over. And
all right, do the voice because
okay.
Otherwise I will.
So it's so funny because I was talking to my other daughter today. I'm like, I have the kids that were perfect for me. Like I got the kids that were perfect for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully vice versa. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because
it seems like it. I mean, the connection that you both have are like.
But it's merging like theater and make believe and play. It's like we just play, you know. And it's been remarkably therapeutic for her and for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, she's gonna do a mask.
Ventriloquy.
Okay. How are you doing, Garrick?
Oh, I'm doing well.
What are you and Camille doing today?
Well, I'm probably going to put a pin cushion on her bed because I'm angry at her since she went out for boba tea without me.
Oh my God. Did she? Well, I know you like to go to the Mission.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell David why you like the Mission District?
I like the Mission District because I like to flirt with cholos there.
You like the hot Latino men.
Oh no, I like the 50-year-old cholos with the faded tattoos.
God, that sounds good to me. Now, one last thing. Are you two cooking tonight? Who's cooking?
I have no idea. The only meat in the fridge is some like breakfast sausages.
Well, I'm not gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole, because I know the way your mind works.
I love you.
I love you too. Thanks, Meme. I know that wasn't easy for you. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. And just a couple of things I just was about to burst out. Who doesn't like hot Latino men? And then I almost said something about a 10-foot pole, but I stopped.
I know. And the same thing with the sausages. My mind goes there too.
By the way, did you mentioned Little Night Music. Were you in that at San Francisco State?
No, I'm not a singer. No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
no.
I mean, like, wait, was
Yes?
Glynis Johns trained as more of an actress or a singer? Because I remember, like, Sondheim saying he wrote Send in the Clown specifically for Glynis's voice, since she was kind of limited in her singing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
What is the role that you played that was your favorite?
In life, in all,
in all of, yeah, well, as an actor or as in life? Or
uh,
both?
I'll tell you, at San Francisco, it's different in every phase of my life. In San Francisco State, I played Arnold's mother in Torch Song Trilogy.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, I saw.
Right, right. And
Wasn't Ray was with you in that? Ray Santos.
I loved it because of the memories, but when I did Mayor Ubu, and I did it for many years, ART would do it and bring it back because it was a moneymaker. It was raunchy. It was a rock musical. I met some of my best friends. That would be the one. And I mean, when I say raunchy, she was raunchy.
Well, you
Um,
sang in that, right?
yes, but I'm a belter. I wouldn't say I'm great, but the spirit of the show sort of let me be, rock and roll. And I did a lot of go-go dancing in that. So you get to be a sex symbol in this character. She looked very much like sort of a chubby Liz Taylor, right? So you get to be sexy, if only in your own head.
Well, it's not in your own head. You are. And again, you have that, you still do. I mean, the whole family has this energy of, and you know where I think it is?
Hmm.
The thing that's so great, and when I was growing up, I was sometimes afraid of that energy. I was shy, and I wasn't, even though I didn't carry myself that way, but now I'm seeing it more of that energy that I was really attracted to. That energy was actually a big ball of love that I didn't accept. Not that I didn't accept it, I didn't understand it, but now I'm understanding it more and I'm connecting to it more.
That's fantastic. That's
Uh,
fantastic. I mean, and considering where we are now with the world, there's nothing I can do. Like, believe me, it's hard for me to get out of bed sometimes with the pandemic, but my sort of job is to keep, it helps me to help other people.
mm.
Like before I came on here, I was coaching a student, and I was just, I find that the projects I've done with my students over this summer, they were like, thank God I had something to do today. And it makes them feel better. It makes me feel better. It's just like, that's what being an actor is giving of yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that, and same with me. It keeps me going because every day I call at least 8 students and, hey, Performing Arts Studio West. I
Now,
love where they're watching right now and everybody's watching, but it's so true. The students, keep me going and keep me breathing.
how do I become a student of yours at Performing Arts West? It sounds awesome.
Well, you go to the website, and actually John Paces, who is the creator and founder of Performing Arts Studio West. And I had heard about this school for years. And I finally went there and I walked in. They had this front room where they had the music class, and they had this hallway with all the posters of the movies and TV shows that all the students have been in.
Oh,
and then you walk into this big room, which is the theater. And they do shows there. We do shows there. And then if you turn around on the other side, there is a music studio and where they record music. And then there's a editing bay. And then you walk to the end of the play. You walk outside, and there's a whole nother building which has the dance studio and the agency. And we have over 100 students. And actually, they're starting to take new students through online classes now. We have Zoom classes every day, Monday through Friday.
I want to either take or teach. Hook me up to the slow drip.
I have to connect you. We have two dance classes, 2 dance teachers. We have 2 acting teachers, and we have 2 music teachers.
Oh my God!
It's really, yeah.
Okay, I've got to get involved. Have you seen Autism the Musical and the sequel?
I saw the original, and I'm interviewing the creator of that in, I think, 2 weeks.
Mike, will you kiss her for me?
Oh, she is such an amazing person. She's so amazing.
Mimi, have you seen the sequel yet?
No, I have not. I have a question for David.
Yes, yes.
Have you ever heard of the Thinking Person's Guide to Autism?
I haven't heard that one. Is it a book?
It's like a book and a website. I'm good friends with the person who created it.
Right. Who
Um,
wrote it? Or who
uh,
created it? Do you know? Do you remember?
yeah,
I
her name, I know.
Shannon?
Shannon DeRoche Rosa.
Yeah.
Oh, I should check that out.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, what's different about Thinking Person's Guide, Meme?
Just because it's like a lot of the stuff is actually written by autistic people, and it goes deep into a lot of intersections about autism, like intersections with like the trans identity or the queer identity, or the Black identity. Although I do wish I could see a little bit more about like I guess maybe autism and like the fat identity, because like I don't know, or just because I'm very interested in like fashion accessibility, and I
Yeah.
know like it's hard to shop for good clothes when you're like fat or when you're autistic. So,
Oh, that's right.
hmm
Because of the sensory stuff and as well as size.
yep.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Wow.
Somebody's got to design some clothing for folks with sensory issues.
You know,
Garrick's a tailor in the show.
Okay, no, Garrick. No, don't try to steal the show.
I want to thank you so much, both of you, for being on today. And it was a pleasure meeting you. I hope we have to stay in touch.
Well, we have so much to talk about. But
Oh, yeah, we do.
I want your students to know, though,
Yes.
it's always possible, David. Look at me, starting over in my 50s. It's always possible. And keep sending the love out and just do everything with great generosity and love, because that's, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is.